What the heck is he doing? Oh, what's that sound? What is he doing? Brad! Brad! What are you doing? Brad, stop! Brad, stop!
What's going on, everyone? I'm a little concerned for Laurie Calcaterra, our guest today, because she is having to deal with that in her home. And it's very interesting. We're going to have to talk to her. But before I introduce her and bring her on as my very first guest, that's right. It's a new show on Comic Crusaders YouTube channel. It is Noon with Nem. I have passed on the Anyone World podcast over to Laurie, and she's doing an amazing job. But I have some time on my hands every now and then to talk to incredibly interesting creators like Laurie Calcaterra, and I am so happy that she has agreed. No, in fact, she has decided to matriculate down here into the gutters with me and be on my show. But she's the very first guest, and I'm so happy to have her. I'm proud to announce and welcome none other than Laurie Calcaterra. How you doing, Laurie?
Hi, thank you. I didn't realize I was the first guest on a news show. I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
Yay.
So I am so happy to have you on here. I have been out of the game doing interviews for a while. I've been busy in writing mode and everything else and taking care of stuff behind the scenes. And I decided, you know what? You have taken over and rolled with Anyone World so well. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring some more love over here and do that. And you're always great to talk to. But first, before we get to all that and Path of the Pale Rider, I have to ask, what the heck is going on over here? I know.
Oh my goodness. So for people who are unaware, Path of the Pale Rider is a comic book with riddles and fan interactive short films. So what you guys just saw is a teaser from our upcoming short film. It's called A Day in the Life. In Path of the Pale Rider, I can say my own name, I swear. Path of the Pale Rider, death has been broken. So your body can die, but your soul doesn't leave your body upon death. So you're stuck in your rotting body, right? So in this short film, we're exploring what happens to a nuclear family when one of the family members is deceased. And so again, you're not a flesh-craving zombie trying to eat people. You're just you. But your brain is rotting in your skull, which means that you can become violent, chaotic, forgetful, detached, vegetative, all these things. It's like having dementia in like fast forward.
Wow.
So what we saw there was Rachel playing Alex, and her husband likes sundown. So every night, because he's deceased, he does something chaotic. And as it keeps going, he starts to act out and be violent and really be crazy. So that was him in the middle of the night. He doesn't remember any of that. But we shot it the long way, like she's recording it on her cell phone. So we're going to show that in the film, like she's showing him proof of the crazy antics that he gets up to in the middle of the night. It's not the only crazy antics he's going to do. There's a lot in this one. So we're funny, we're memorable, we're talk about the ethics of Path of the Pale Rider, and we can be creepy and scary at times too. So all those things are coming.
That is so cool. And I have questions about how you came up with the setting and the stuff that you do besides just writing and, getting all this together and putting the book together and getting it shipped and everything else. That's just a little bit of work that you do. So, but I know that you've been on Path of the Pale Rider, doing this for a while now. But you are here on the show to talk about something really special coming up. So what is that?
So Path of the Pale Rider, we've been putting out single issues. What's coming up next is our first ever trade paperback, a book, which I'm very excited about. So it's issues 1 through 4. Issue 1 has been remastered. So when we originally released issue 1, being brand spanking new in the indie comics world, we could only afford black and white. So that's what we produced. But people loved the story and we continued to grow. So issues 2, 3, and 4 are in color. So it made sense when we did the trade that we would go back and color, and I relettered issue number 1. So now it's going to be a cohesive, it's all going to look the same. You know what I mean? You're not going to fall out of the story because these are in color and this is in black and white.
Right.
And of course, we're throwing in a crap ton of bonus material. You get portions of the script, Jude St. Clair's journal entries, a map of the apocalypse, and like every single variant cover that we've run, there's prints in the back. So
very cool. And where can people
redact things?
Where can people go for your campaign? So
it's on Kickstarter, so you can look for Path of the Pale Rider. See what's going across the screen right now. www.pale-rider.com will take you right there. That's our short link. It will never change. Here's the longest link in the world. Thanks, Kickstarter. But I love what you did here. If you scan this QR code, folks, it'll take you right to the campaign. And we have some really, really, excuse my language, but badass merchandise along with the trade paperback on this campaign.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, I mean, usually, people like to save the plug for the end, but I'm like, no, we're here. We're trying to get you some love. We want to get that campaign out there and going. It deserves to be going. I have to say, the fact that you went back and redid issue 1 is about the most indie thing in the world, because you're thinking of your readers. It's like, we had to get it out. This is what we did for issue 1, but it's like, now we're going to go for it. We're going to color it, remaster it, and put it. I mean, that's awesome. That's really,
how
really
it was
awesome.
supposed to be seen. We always intended to do color, but we had of course, we had a budget and we stuck to it. So if we hit this dollar amount with black and white, and if we got bonus up to this dollar amount, we could do it in color. But we didn't get there on the first try, and that's okay. We got funded, and that's what was important. So the story got out there. It's weird, Dem. Now that we've done color for 2, 3, and 4, I've had people ask me for 2, 3, and 4 in black and white.
And what is your response? What are you thinking?
I'm doing something different and special. So I don't know if people have been following me on social media, but I learned how to bind books myself. So this is blank. I haven't done the cover yet, but this is a black and white. It'll be handmade, printed, bound, glued, designed, cover, everything from me. But it's 1 through 4 in black and white. So I'm making like 10 of these max. But if people are interested in these, they will be on the campaign. I think they're super cool, and they're a collector's item because you can't print these at Comics Wellspring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is 100% love from me. But yeah, so that's an option if people want it. It's just a little mini. But all the time and effort I put into these. So
yeah, I mean, that's absolutely incredible that you would do that and that you know how to do that. I mean, once again, I have to go back and say, this is, you're one of those creators who, get ready. You're getting some love thrown your way. You are one of those creators who is like epitomizes the indie spirit. It's like, I think it's safe to say that before you started all this, you weren't a huge known name in comics. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Right.
So you're not coming in with a pre-built audience like others, and I'm not disparaging them. They've worked for their audience, but you're plugging away. You're doing what you can, and you're bringing value to your audience. So I mean, kudos to you. That's great.
Thank you. Yeah, we try to do new stuff. We try to have not only just a great story, but a world you can get lost in with the riddles, and then the interaction if you choose, because really you could go as deep into Path of the Pale Rider as you want, and then when we look at merch, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of just stuff for stuff's sake, you know what I mean? Like, I like a good bookmark and I like a good sticker, but sometimes I leave those right in the back of the comic book the plastic and the board and bag when you get
Mhm.
it, and I don't even take it out. So what's the point of all that stuff if the people aren't going to use it, in my mind?
Right.
So I'm aiming for merch that's different, something that you're not going to find anywhere. A lot of the times I do secret rewards, which I'm hand making myself. Stuff like this would usually be a secret reward, but I told everybody what this was because I wanted people to get it. But I've done hand painted 3D minis of Big James. I've done a box of this one's so weird. I call it the Bones of Despair. It's I handcrafted the wooden box, and it has antique hinges. And when you open it up, it's a glass bottle with ashes and bones in it.
All right. Who are the ashes of? I got to know. So,
It's okay. All right. No, I can't actually put remains in a bottle and ship it legally.
oh,
So it's wood ash, and the bones
okay.
I made out of clay, but they
Okay.
look real because I'm
That's cool.
crafty like that.
Very
So
cool.
when you open it and it's a bottle of bones, you're like, oh crap. But the whole
Yeah.
point of it is, in my story, it's like there is no death. You can be a pile of bones and you're still here stuck in those bones. So if you put a seashell to your ear, you can hear the sea. If you put a bottle of bones to your ear, do you hear the voices of the damned?
I don't know. Do you hear the voices of the damned?
I don't know. You'll have to get a
we
Bones
have
of
to get it and
Despair
find
and
out.
find out, right? But I
So-
mean, like, that's the kind of stuff that you're gonna get in the secret rewards from me, is something
Yeah.
handcrafted and it has meaning. And I spent a lot of time on these. So I made
I-
someone a disc, like a working one that lights up and everything.
I have to say your merch is next level, and one of these days I'm going to have to pick your brain on how you get all this stuff made. Because it's
Yeah.
really fantastic, the stuff you do. But while we're speaking of it, the
Yeah.
campaign's not live yet, correct?
It's not. The campaign goes live February 26th.
Okay.
So at this point, if you type in the pale-writer.com, it takes you to the pre-launch page, and you could be if you hit the green button, and it will notify you when I launch. I'm planning on launching, that's a Monday around 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. So that's when I'm going to push the button. If you're interested in one of those plushies, get in there when I launch, because I have people gunning for those. So
Now make sure you go to this link right here and click on the green button to be notified. I've already done it myself. So if I've done it, I'm notoriously bad for remembering these types of things. You could do it too. So make sure you go to this link and click notify. And I have been told that we could get a sneak preview of what the campaign looks like.
yeah, I'm
true?
like, it's less than 2 weeks away. So it's 99% there. I have a couple more pictures I have to upload. Like, I'm going to finish this bad boy and put pictures up so people can see it in its glory. But it's not done yet. And I think I have keychains that I have to take pictures of, but the keychains are done for one of the stretch goals. And I have like 2 stretch goals. I want to pick something different.
Okay.
I usually do like something keychain and then bookmark, but I want to do something different. So I haven't picked those yet. But other than that, everything's pretty much there. So
Well-
we can walk around. I'm happy to give you a tour.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Oh, and I don't have my video up yet, but there will be a welcome video. I'm notorious for doing shenanigans in my videos.
Nice.
Last video, I told the viewers what Path of the Pale Rider was with myself, who was an undead version of a reporter from one of my short films. And
Very
she
cool.
was so chaotic. She kept like falling out. She lost her eyeball in the middle and like saying stuff like chicken nuggets. Like, so yeah, so we'll have more shenanigans. But here's what it looks like. The goal is less than half than what we normally go for. We usually have a goal of 4,550 because we have to pay artists page rates. So the art's already done for this. So
Right.
this $2,000 is to pay for the print job. I think I have, minimal costs on merch, but the rest of it just goes to print. And anything in addition we get in the 2,000 is going towards more printing, obviously more books. And then if we get to that point, it just goes into the next issue. So issue number 5 is next. We'll be starting production on that as soon as, we're done with this one. So
I was going to ask you about that. That's cool. That's
Oh,
great.
yeah.
So, now look at this. Is this
here's
a
our
this,
cover.
and I see a familiar Any One World logo there. So
It's ASAP.
Yeah. And is it now?
Uh-huh.
Ooh. Is that some news that we're breaking here or
Yeah, I didn't know if I was supposed to break it or not, so we might have to edit this out.
okay. All right. I just wanted to be known to Paul there. I didn't name this, so I didn't do it. So he's still gonna
You can
blame
say
me.
it's a beautiful cover. I have the ASAP Anyone logo at the bottom. Yes, I do. So
Yeah.
these will be printed by ASAP Imagination. Yes,
Wow, very
yes,
cool.
very
So they'll
excited.
be available on the anyoneworld.com as well then. The
Yes,
ones
they're going to
that
be
are listed.
available on the website. And I love this because I have a lot of not just Path of the Pale Rider fans, but like fans of my podcast that are across the pond, either in the UK or in the Netherlands. And they're going to be able to purchase physical copies of the trade paperback through the website. So I won't be able to fulfill them through the Kickstarter because I don't have, I don't, let me just say, I don't want to do international shipping. I really don't. But that's what ASAP is in Anyone is so great for. It's because they are already there. So it
Mhm.
won't cost $45 for me to ship this to you. You can get local shipping, local, like, and it's
Yeah,
not going to go across the pond. Um,
that's amazing.
so
'Cause,
this is the first time that the international audience can get a physical copy. Also, the Canadian fans, I have several. I have one lady that always gets physical, and she pays all out, out the nose for the shipping, but she loves it. But now again, ASAP and Anyone are in Canada, so that will also help as well. So I'm
wow,
gonna, you can get this through me, but you probably can get it cheaper shipping wise if you get it through ASAP Imagination and Anyone.
that is very, very cool.
Yeah.
And I have to ask you, do you find more people buy digital or physical?
I typically have more physical than I do digital on my standalone issues.
Hmm.
So like 1 through 4, I maybe have, I don't know, 40 people that are just digital. And then
Hmm.
like another, like my last campaign, I had 140. So then another 100 people ordered physical. So
So I'm not alone in being one of those weirdos who prefers to smell the ink and touch the
that's me
paper and everything.
too. But what I mean, like typically on my standalone campaigns, you get the
Hmm.
book and the PDF. So you can binge read whatever it is when it first comes out because everybody's dying to know what happens next because I always leave you on a cliffhanger. I'm sorry. Don't worry, I'll drink your tears later. And then when the physical comes, you can do that second read and you can catch all the things that are going on in the background that I hid in there. See what I
So
mean?
I have a question for you on the trade that
Yes.
I think that other people would want to know. I'm one of those strange people. I do like collecting single issue floppies, but usually I collect them for the covers. When I
Hmm.
really want to read something, I buy the trade because I can read it back to
Yes.
back, just keep going through and it's not broken up. So is that how you're doing your trade? Is that all 1 through 4 collected
Yes.
together like that? So,
Yes, this
okay.
is issues 1 through 4. Path of the Pale Rider was written as a full-length movie. I was working for a production company when I wrote this. And I was doing like short form and like web content, like web episodes of like action and choreographing fight scenes, managing a stunt team for like music videos and whatever they needed. I had
Mhm.
people that could do jujitsu, kung fu. It just depended on what they wanted. Do you want a street fight? We can help you fall down and not hurt yourself, or we'll
Yeah.
fall down for you if you want. You know what I mean? So that's what we were doing. So that's where I was in my writing. So when we decided to go comic book, I broke it up into issues so that it was more manageable. But it's meant to be read as a whole. So what you're getting in this trade paperback is basically the first act of our movie. You know what I mean? Because it's usually first act, second act, third act in a
Right.
movie. This is act 1 through 4.
Okay. Well, that begs a question, and then we'll keep going down. But I got to ask these follow-up questions. If this is
Do
Act
it.
One of the movie, and
Yes.
eventually we are going to, I know we are, we're going to get Act One, Act Two, and Act Three.
Yes.
Do we have Path of the Pale Rider 2 then after that?
Yes. There are
Oh, sweet.
so each arc is 12
Mhm.
issues. There are 3 arcs. So we have a total of 36 standalone issues. You will have 9 trade paperbacks. Okay. And then once we get, like, I can do, well, for no, 9 for each arc. You see what I mean? Like, we can put them all together into any combination you guys want.
Right.
If you want me to put all 12 into one book, I'll do it. You know what I
That'd be
mean? If you want all
amazing.
36 in one, good Lord, we'll do it.
Give a 1 through 12 omnibus, you know, and with some
Yeah.
more goodies and stuff. That would be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So you can have like 1, 2, and 3 of the arcs, which are, you know, complete stories.
Mm.
It does have an ending. The ending is already in stone. And every issue that I have written moves us closer to that ending. So I'm hoping that there's a lot of fan payoff, and I hope you all have some feelings, good and bad, by the time we get to issue 36. If you're not bawling with me at the end, I have missed my mark.
Well, that's an admirable goal, to have everybody bawling, versus when they read my stuff, everybody's cursing. So,
Well, I think I get that in between. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
right where we are now, when I leave people like, what just happened? God dang it, Laurie. Like, and throw, you know, don't throw your comic. Hopefully, don't throw your phone. I don't know, throw something, a pad of
Yeah.
paper, throw your shoe. But you're gonna have some feelings. You're definitely gonna have feelings. When people that are reading issue 4, they're having some feelings. There's some surprises that they didn't see coming. So yeah.
That's great. That's great. So let's keep looking at
Yeah,
your
I'll keep going.
campaign real quick.
So I always put this in here just so kind of give a visual real quickly. Like if you like Book of Eli, spaghetti westerns, zombie, The Walking Dead, and Cocaine Bear, that's where we live, right?
Cocaine Bear.
That's
Yeah.
us, 100%. We have some snapshots of, you know, what the comic is about. We have some really cool imagery. And then I worked in some GIFs into the Kickstarter page. So just a
Nice.
few so people can see what the interior looks like. This is the first time you get to see issue 1 in color.
That's
So
great.
it's really cool that, you know.
Now, did you get a new cover done for the trade?
Yeah,
So
this is
the cover for the
this is the
trade.
cover of the trade.
Okay. Definitely has that spaghetti western feel to it. So
yeah, I love what Marco DeFeo did here, because of course we have Jude St. Clair, the disc. So that item in the background is a heart monitor. So that's the way that people can tell whether you're alive or not. That's the line, right? Once you stop having a heartbeat, you're still moving around, but you are considered undead, right? So then you become less than. So this heart monitor is really important to the story. So green is alive and red is dead. There is the heart line, which then turns into the path that Jude is walking. And of course, you have the title Path of the Pill Rider with the big old Big James in it.
yeah,
So this is beautiful imagery that really encompasses what we're about. Those are our kind of imagery in the issue.
that's
So
fantastic.
yeah, all of his covers are beautiful. We've had some really talented variant artists involved. There's just been an amazing, 2 years that
Yeah.
we've put into this project. So,
You're only
issue 1,
just
issue 2,
you're only just
issue
starting
3.
too. So
Yeah, I mean, like we're really just dipping our toes in, right?
yep.
But we're having fun. Here's issue 4 and some of the craziness that happens in there. We
That's
got
great.
riots. We got some new characters. It's really interesting. So again, why a trade paperback? Because this is the way that we intended it to be seen, as Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 of a movie. And then you all get bonus material, man. Isn't that what we're about?
Absolutely.
Bonus material.
Plus, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people out there who, and you might be one of them out there who like to read it in the graphic novel format.
Yes.
So,
And then
this is incredible. So
this is Gilbert Perez, who I met at a Comic-Con and was so intrigued with Path of the Pale Rider. He showed up in my messages like, hey, Laurie, what can I do to do a variant cover? And we had just finished all the variant covers for issue number 4. And I knew we were doing trade next. So I was like, it's going to be a little while, man. But what about a pinup? And he was like, yes, tell me what you want. And he did this beautiful, so detailed, just amazing Lola
I'm
pinup.
now this is a drawing, right?
Yeah.
Now I'll tell you, this looks so cool. When I first saw this just now, I thought this was a resin statue, and I wanted to know where I could
Oh
go
my
get one.
gosh. Can you imagine? I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah,
She's gorgeous though. Like you can
yeah.
see her bones and sinew, and like if you look at her fingers on the bottom right, like some of them are coming apart. Like he just puts heart and soul into this. It's so gorgeous.
Wow.
So there's 5x7 prints available of this. I'm gonna sign him Love Lola and kiss him. So that'll be funny. We got really cool buttons. My buddy, his name is Preem, like Supreme, like Taco Supreme. Just kidding.
So
He-
we're gonna have to break out the '80s high school jacket and put all our
yeah,
buttons on them.
yeah. I love these. They're so cute though. And he sent me like a bonus pack that are just really awesome. He added an extra little button. I know you guys can't see it because I got a green screen, but it's on there. So that hand that he usually has like a white hand, it almost looks like the hamburger helper hand, and a button because it's danger button. And he changed it to a zombie hand because he just loves Path of a Pale Rider, man. So here's the 11-inch tall Big James pillow plushie.
And these are the ones that are in high demand that people want,
High
right?
demand. So people are like, will you save one for me? And I was like, I'm putting them on the campaign, man. If there's any left after the campaign, we can fight over them. But if there's one left, it's mine, right? If there's two left, we'll talk.
Nice.
My kids have claimed at least 2 of them, but I don't think they're gonna get them. This is back by popular demand. I think it was issue number, I want to say 3 that we ran hot sauce. Yes, it was issue number 3 that I make this hot sauce, me.
Really?
From scratch.
Holy
I bottle
cow.
it, I package it, I label it, I print the labels myself. It's hot. Well, let me just say, if you are a hot sauce fanatic, it's medium. But it's ghost pepper. So it's up to you what you think. But it's a barbecue base, so it's delicious. I love it. I love it.
You had me at hot sauce since I'm part Mexican, you know. It's like it's just in the blood. So
Me too. Me too. Italian last name, married into an Italian family with Hispanic background. So I feel you. So, but yeah, return of the hot sauce. People have run out at this time, and I've had requests like, "Hey, when are you doing more hot sauce?" Well, here you go, people.
That's awesome.
I was really excited about this. Okay. So in issue number 1, Jude St. Clair is on I-93 and he's going to a place looking for a dude and comes across this smashed person. It's a zombie hand and it's holding this glass and he wrenches it out of the hand. It goes flying into the air and he dives. Oh, he like ends up halfway off a cliff to catch this thing. Why is it so important? You have to read to find out. But I found the glasses. Look.
Now, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Or a request.
Yeah.
When your campaign successfully funds and everything goes, can you please send back to us a short clip of you having some whiskey out of one of these cups?
I am totally gonna do that.
All right.
I found these actually a while ago and they went out of stock. You know who has a set of these? Marco DeFio.
Cool.
He has these. He's the only one that has these. So I was like, they were out of stock for so long. And I was like, they're back in stock. I can order these. So it is the Las Vegas glass tumbler. It's 11-ounce glass. And it's the one that Jude St. Clair smashes in the road and wakes up Big James. That's the glass. Don't break yours.
That is so amazing. This, all right. Another thing that I love. Play cards. Look at this. Oh my gosh.
I love playing cards. I collect really cool. Like I have a Harry Potter deck. I have a Avengers deck. I you know what I mean? Like they make really cool ones. Dune. I have Dune. I have money ones. Like they have money symbol. They're really cool. So this is just something that I came up with. That I was like, all right, every campaign, every 50 backers, we unlock another poker card. So we've got 3. I came up with this at the end of the 3rd campaign. So that's why we only have 3. I didn't think of it in campaign 1 and 2. So that's 150 backers right there.
Very cool.
But every time we unlock, one, I always guarantee the first one is a face card. So we're not like 2, 3, 4, and 5, Laurie, wee,
Yeah.
But we do have to get through some of the numbers or we're not going to have a deck. So we've unlocked King of Hearts, 10 of Hearts, Ace of Hearts. And
Very
then we
cool.
will unlock some more depending on how many backers. I have no idea how many backers are going to show up for a trade paperback because this is the first one we're doing.
Yeah. Hey,
So
everybody out there who's watching this, make sure you get there and let's get this thing over 500 backers. That's
oh
what
my
we should
gosh,
be
I
going
will
for,
make
so.
all the poker cards if we get 500 backers.
Make
And
sure
I'll get a
you
tattoo.
go sign up for palerider.com. It's a great story. Obviously, there's great value. There's great merch to go along with it. I mean, you can't lose here. Make sure you get over there and sign up for it now. So,
And
sorry.
shenanigans.
Yes.
So my dollar amount stretch goals, here's where I'm like, I have to think of 2 more because at like 4,000 and 4,500, I haven't figured them out yet, but I will. But our goal is 2,000. At 2,500, we usually do an indie PDF bundle, which I love because the people that are the digital backers can also participate in this stretch goal. I always feel bad when I'm sending like, oh, stickers, buttons, koozies, keychains. I can't send any of that to the digital backers,
Yeah.
So this is my way. It's like I usually do every other until we get past the slice and dice, and then it's just whatever I can think of. But so at 2,500 is the indie bundle, which everybody gets, which is so cool. Last indie bundle, we had about 20 additional comics. Some people were throwing in like whole volumes, and I was like,
Yeah.
might be a little much. Maybe like an issue 1 would be good. But so I have to take a picture of this bad boy, but I have one here. It's a disc keychain. Let me put it on it. So it's printed by myself. It's a 3D printed disc.
There we go.
There we go. And it has black hardware. But I 3D printed these myself out of it's like wooden PLA, which is so cool. It's wooden, it's plastic. What the heck is it? I don't know, but hopefully it keeps your heart beating. That's what I'm hoping. So
I'm going to have to get you to talk to Mrs. Nam because I'm trying to convince her that we need to get a 3D printer. So.
Oh yeah, man. So much fun to be had with the 3D printers. I 3D print like little minis of Big James and paint them. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. So that's what this one will be. I'll have a picture up there. At 3,500, this is a lot less than normally. This is 6,500. So 3,500, we are going to do the slice and dice. So being a martial artist, I have a plethora of weapons. I love saying that. And we get to pick a watermelon or a pumpkin in this one. The fans get to name it. So I'll run a poll. Fans name it. And then they get to pick the weapon of destruction. And then on my Tuesday morning brew show, I destroy it on live. So we've done the first watermelon was called King Joffrey Baratheon because nobody likes that guy, right? And I used the Filipino short sword. So I sliced that into 400 pieces. It was fun. And then last campaign was a pumpkin. We ended in October. So what did they name that? Ichabod Craven. And I unsuccessfully lit him on fire. I couldn't get him to take, but we will be lighting something on fire before we destroy it. Eventually, I will get it figured out. But people voted on a modified sledgehammer, so that bad boy flew everywhere. It was awesome.
We need to get a little finger in there as well. So
I know. I was like, do I continue with the Game of Thrones names? But people were just all over the place with the pumpkin. It was great. It's so fun to see what people come up with. And then the fans just vote on what they think is the funniest. And then I just, set up the cameras and destroy. It's a lot of fun.
Very cool.
I love this GIF too. It makes me laugh. So 4,000 and 4,500. Haven't figured that out yet, but we will. At 5,000, I have these really cool bear enamel pins in mind. Enamel pins, so hot right now. But we'll get there eventually. You know what I mean? Usually the enamel pins are like 7,500 for the stretch goal. So they're lower on this one. But that's about the price range I need to be at in order to print those. So to
Okay.
have those made. So
Makes sense.
we got a ton of add-ons too. Like here's some more pictures of some of the things that are in here.
Cool.
So go shopping, guys. I have
Yeah.
where did it I don't know if it lets me do it here in the preview, but here, look. No, I can't do it. There's a 3D printed Big James miniature. So you
Mhm.
can add on one of those. I just don't have a level with it on there. You can get the floppies if you want a POTPR in color issue number 1. I made that available. We have a choose your own adventure book
Ooh.
right here. Super cool. A Million Ways to Die in the West. Everybody dies. The only person that has made it through is Marco DeFeo, and that's cheating. Right?
Very cool.
So, and
Yeah.
then all of the previous poker cards are available for $1. Super cheap. No ship. You know what I mean? I just toss them in there if you want an extra. So if you're building the poker deck and you're just finding us now, you're not going to be penalized. I want everybody to have a full deck of cards when we get to the end, and then I will do a box as well. So there's a ton of good stuff on here. T-shirts, full set of comics, whatever you guys want. I was going to throw I'm on the fence if I want to throw the hot sauce in there or not. We'll see.
Wow. That is amazing. And you can tell you've done a lot of hard work on all this,
Yeah.
which is incredible.
I mean, just building all of these.
Believe me,
right?
If none of you out there have ever done it before, this is hours of hard work putting all of this in there, and once again, this is what it takes. This is the indie spirit. You don't have a separate marketing team and a separate publisher and not publisher but publicist.
Publicist. Yeah, I wear the publicist hat too.
Yeah,
I did hire a publicist. If you're new to the indie world and you're looking for a publicist, I recommend Jeff Haas. He was wonderful and helped me through my very first campaign when I thought I was going to have a heart attack and puke and die all in the same 15 minutes. So there are people out there that can help you. You can use them. But like after that first campaign, I felt like I had grown some, I don't even know what I want to say here. I had grown up. I had grown a pair.
I will put that in the show notes if you give me that later on. The
Jeff Haas's information. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, here's what the Lolo thing is going to look like with the signature and the kiss on it. It'll be fun.
That's awesome.
So yeah. So all those are there. I did also put the riddles. Here's all of the riddles that we have done so far. Some of them are in sign language. This one is a QR code scavenger hunt. It takes no skill at all. You just go scan the QR codes and go walk through my brain. It's a lot of fun. There's a Rickroll. There's a Swedish chef making hot sauce. There's Train to Busan, spaghetti westerns. I think there's one with He-Man singing Four Non-Blondes. There's just a lot of weird stuff. And then one of them is the hidden video where you can see the undead underground, which is really
very cool.
And then here's the one that leads you to, I don't know. What does this lead you to? This is issue number 4. Pick me up to call, but hope it's not for you. You are just a number.
Very cool. So you got so much going on. This is amazing. I think, people should really, take to heart what you're doing here. We've got a little bit of time left. So I had a couple questions on some other
we could take
stuff.
this down. I just scrolled through. You can see, this will be live in less than 2 weeks, guys. So, I mean, you're welcome to go watch all of our short films. You can read more about myself, Marco, Matt, and Rachel. And then of course, this is all the fun stuff I got to put in more.
And no AI used. That's a big
no
one.
AI has been used, not ever, and nor will it ever be used. Nope.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, this is when I like to talk, and I wanted to reverse the order. So I wanted to make sure that we get everything that you are putting out there first, so in case someone doesn't watch the whole video, that's not giving you license out there not to watch the whole video, but we get the important information out there. But I want to talk a little bit more about who is Laurie Calcaterra and what is wrong with your, I mean, how does your mind work? So
Lots is wrong, Nam.
yeah.
I'm on the FBI watch list just like you are from all of my
Yes.
research. Yeah. Just kidding.
So how do you come up with this amazing world and this amazing idea, Path of the Pale Rider?
I was just thinking, what would happen if death broke, if it wasn't the same? Now, I like horror and I like zombies. I wanted something different. And having consumed a lot of Walking Dead, Train to Busan, Night of the Living Dead, etc., 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 a lot of those titles focus on the day-to-day survival, but they don't ever tell you why. What
Mhm.
happened? How did it happen? Does anybody even care? You know what I mean? But that's what Path of the Pale Rider is about. It's about just a dude who wants to know what broke the world. You know what I mean? And I spent a lot of time world building, like, what would it look like? What would happen to our food chain if you couldn't butcher an animal because it was still animated?
Mm.
Would the burger still move while you try to eat it? Right?
That
Would
is frightening, perplexing, and I want to
disgusting.
say titillating at the same time.
Those chicken nuggets are not supposed to move. But also, like, someone was like, "Oh, we'll just become vegetarian." I'm like, "Well, insects are not gonna be you can't use pesticide anymore because they don't care, and they're dumb, so they probably don't realize they're not supposed to eat, right? So they'll keep eating, and now you can't stop them.
Mm.
So now we have a famine, we have fish that don't die, they don't sink to the bottom. They're still moving around. So now we have contaminated water issues.
And
Oh,
eventually
Lord.
all that's going to start piling up too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, that's just our food. And then with the people being chaotic, because the way that I envision it is in the beginning, nobody knows what to do. If there's a hospital and there's a dude that's dead and nobody really understands, they just freaking send him home. What are they going to do with him?
yeah,
Right?
that's such an amazing concept. And when did this like hit you all of a sudden, or was this something you thought about for a while? It started with an idea and then it just built, or how did it come to you?
Yeah. So I started writing this in 2018, people.
Okay.
So I want to say that because when you read it, and especially in issue 3, you're going to see the pandemic. I wrote this prior to, okay? I wrote this in 2018. So that whole sit on the couch and watch all the bad news happen, that's issue 3. But that's what it started with, was just this idea of what would happen to the world if death no longer functioned the same way. And it just grew. I spent so much time world building. I didn't even have a name for my cowboy for probably the first year. I just called him Hero. And
Mm,
it wasn't until I think I had some musical inspiration that he became Jude St. Clair. There's meaning behind all my names too. Like Path of the Pale Rider is about the path of death. 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, the last one that rides in, he who rides upon the pale horse is named Death. So this is
mm.
the path of death. Where the heck did death go, right? And of course, you have this cowboy on a horse who's following the path to try and figure out what happened and put the world right. So I
Interesting.
think I broke it into issues, I want to say 2019, and then started looking into hiring a comic book team in the beginning of 2020 in January. And then, of course, everything fell apart.
Well, now I have another follow-up question for you. So you originally were thinking of this as a movie.
Yes.
If you could have your choice to do anything with it, we could go back in time and someone said you could do it as comic, knowing what you know now, you could do it as a comic book the way you're doing, or we could make the movie. Which would you rather do?
Well, how close is it going to be to the original script?
There's an interesting question.
Because that's why we're doing comics. I was told by the production company and by many people in the business to pitch it to Netflix. I did not. I didn't want to lose creative control. I wanted an audience. I wanted people to know the characters and love them as they are before Hollywood could get in there and muck it all up, right? So, would I like to see it on screen? Sure, because that's how I see it in my head. It could be live action. It could be how rude. Who's calling me? Rude. It could be animated. That would be really cool to see it animated as well. Like I love oh, sorry. I'm on a live, guys. Hanging up. It answered. What was it? What's the cartoon that I really like? Castlevania.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
If I could get Path of the Pale Rider the Castlevania treatment, I would 100%
Now,
do that.
I will say, I don't know if you've seen this, but I was looking at your artwork and knowing how the movie goes and that you want some sort of live performance for the animation. I was thinking that something like the way they did Arcane would
Oh,
be amazing. So,
with like the motion capture, is that what
yeah,
they did with the
yeah.
yeah,
It's
that
motion
would
captured animation.
interesting.
So, yeah. So,
Interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I'm open to all of that, but I'm still this is my baby. I want it to be what it's supposed to be before someone else gets in there and starts cutting things, changing characters, adding, you
Right.
know what I mean? Because that's what happens with Hollywood. It's never going to be the same. So, where I'm at now is I want to have control and I want to make it what it is. Plus, I don't think they would ever do like the riddles, you know what I mean? Like all the additional stuff that I'm doing would
Or,
just go right out the window.
or things that
So,
you love that you feel are important to the story get cut out for whatever reason. Someone doesn't like that. Someone's, doesn't want to put that on screen. And then,
right.
yeah, I
And of
get you.
course, being new to the business, having no clout, you know? So that was just
Mhm.
all my concerns, and I love comic books. I'm newer to comics, like, I started reading as a young adult. The
Mhm.
first kinda graphic novel that I read was Who Watches the Watchmen, you know what I mean? It's The Watchmen, and that got me. I was never really
You know,
interested in, like, Spider-Man. Batman was cool, but, it wasn't until it was, like, flawed heroes, and then I was like, "Okay, now I
this
got it."
now this is the thing that I've heard a lot out there, and I'm not getting on my soapbox, but I gotta say, a lot of people like to say to the people who are just new to comic books, like that is a negative. But I'm like, no, it's like it's great. It's
Mm.
great if you get into comic books no matter what time.
Right, it doesn't matter what age,
Yeah,
as
you
long
know,
as you're here.
and
But
and they're so useful to tell a story. So,
yes, and that's the thing. When I started, like, Image was already a thing, so I was reading, like, Saga, and I was reading Walking Dead, and Invincible, and Fables, and, I mean, East of West, and, like,
mm,
when you have one creator, one creative team from start to finish, and it has an ending, that's your character growth, that's when you feel the feelings, you know what I mean? There's a big difference between that and your legacy characters who might change and then get reverted every time the canon gets reset. See what I
right,
mean?
right.
So,
Plus, you know that Batman's really never going to die, or
I mean, they're just restart it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So that there's no risk for him. See what I
hmm
mean? When you're like, you can't kill Batman. You can't
yeah,
kill Superman. We'll just bring him back.
yeah. And I love Batman and Superman. Don't get me wrong, and
Right, I do
but
too, but it's just different than,
mhm,
what I originally consumed as a young adult. And so when my it was actually my husband, he read the script. It took him a while to read it. You know how spouses are sometimes where it's like, I don't know, this could be really weird and I don't want to give her bad feedback, so I'm just not gonna read it, right? And when he
right.
finally did, he was like, "This is amazing. This is a comic book." And I was like, light bulb. It turned on.
Cool.
And I was like, you're at 100% right.
Very
How do
cool.
I do that?
Now, I have got a one last question in a couple parts for you.
Yeah.
I know, because we've talked several times before that you are also of Latina heritage.
Yes.
So, as you could tell by your profile pic there down in the right corner, it's beautiful. Was it sugar skull
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
makeup there?
With
So,
the flower in the hair.
yeah.
I'm perfect for that, right?
And you've got this variant cover that
Yes.
is similar as well. Is is there's a weird, Dia de los Muertos,
Yes.
and just is that was it an influence on you at all? As well as you've got these incredible Western influences as well, which I get the feeling this is part of your background. This is part of your DNA, who you are. So I was wondering if you could
100%.
talk about that. So
The Dia de los Muertos, absolutely. That's of course part of our culture, and it's a sign of beauty. So it's almost like the characters in my story, and you're gonna see some new ones that are I consider beautiful, but they're undead. You know what I
mhm,
mean?
right.
So it's almost a line that we cross because even Jude St. Clair, like this lady flirts with him and he blushes, but she's dead, Nam. You know what I mean? So is it like
Yeah.
it's not necrophilia, but it's still like they're human in this world. So it's a weird mishmash of that line. But I find like the Dia de los Muertos, the sugar skull makeup, like I love that. My sister she teaches Spanish in high school. So every year she does the Dia de los Muertos, she does the whole thing, flowers in the hair, the
Oh,
whole
wow.
face. And for years I was doing her makeup for her. It's just part of us. So death is not the end in certain cultures.
Right.
So I wonder if that, was another major influence in what brought me here. The spaghetti westerns come from my pops. We were, he loves Clint Eastwood movies. We would watch all of them. When you're a kid, you're like, this is dumb. And then eventually you get older and you're like, I'm going to sit down for just a minute and watch what's happening.
Yeah.
And then you're stuck.
I have to admit that I was the same way. I grew up, and my grandfather, and my dad were always watching the westerns and walking around the cowboy hats and everything. And we're living in Southern California, and I'm a surfer. I'm like,
You're like,
what
this
are
is
we,
dumb, guys.
yeah, what are we doing? And I remember when it hit me. I was later, I was in my 20s, but I was watching Unforgiven, and Clint
Yes.
Eastwood walks in, and he's like, well, then he should have armed himself. I was like, oh, this is badass, So I was like,
But if you think about it, westerns are kind of like the gateway drug into apocalypse movies and themes because it's lawless, they live off the land, they're wearing, leather clothing so they can survive longer. There's a lot of that built into a western that is in an apocalypse too. You know what I mean? So I was like, this makes perfect sense to put these together. Things have devolved back to the Wild West in this part where Jude St. Clair is. So he's on a horse because gasoline is expired, his car is long gone. And she's his lady. So that's his, what's the name? I'm gonna mess it up. It's dang it. Never mind.
all
Forget
right.
it. It's no. What's the one with Henry Cavill with the white hair? The Witcher and Roach. That's what I wanted to say.
Yes.
That's
Oh
his
my gosh.
Roach. Okay. So when Jude St. Clair starts issue 1, Prince, that's his lady. They're the team, man. They work together well, and you'll see them function that way. So it's like, in an apocalypse, when you live on your horse, what are you going to wear? What do you keep with you? What is important to you? Maybe that's why he stops and tries to fight for that glass. There might have more meaning to him than it would to you and I because
Right.
it's a piece of the past when things were a little nicer. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
So
So
westerns
much.
and apocalypses, they're the same.
Absolutely incredible. All right, folks. We have run out of time, unfortunately, because I'm sure I could sit here and speak with Laurie about all of this for hours. But as you can see, she is an amazing and talented lady. Make sure that you go. There it is again. Let me put it down there. pale-rider.com will take you right to the Kickstarter campaign. Sign up to be notified. Make sure you back it. It's important. We need to support our indie creators, especially ones that are putting the hard work in, like Laurie. So,
Oh man, I bleed Path of the Pale Rider. And your support is so important so that we continue to produce the story. With indie, that's where all the new stuff is. That's where all the great ideas are. The people that are too stubborn to quit, the people that don't want Hollywood to bastardize their story, this is where we are. So thank you in advance for supporting indie. We appreciate you, every single one. Thank you.
absolutely. So, everybody, go do that, please. Make sure you get there, pale-rider.com. Also, click like and subscribe on this video because I'm going to keep doing this and bring you more indie creators and creators in some other avenues of life as well. So until next time, I want to thank Laurie for being here. Thank you so much, Laurie.
Thank you for having me, Nem. I was excited to come on, and then you're like my first guest on my new show. I was like, oh my God. Thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. And thank you all out there for watching it. Make sure you support your indie creators. And until next time, we're out of here. Bye, everybody.